Welcome to the Fit Fellows podcast. With over 40 years of combined personal training experience, they are ready to share their knowledge with you to help you grow your business, keep your client communication sharp, and be confident and fulfilled in your career as a personal trainer. Pay attention, because the Fit Fellows be spitting knowledge. Here are your hosts for the show, Russell, Michael, and Michael.
All right, welcome to the first show, the Fit Fellows podcast.
Yeah.
Welcome, everyone.
Yeah.
Hey.
Man, it's been a while since this was just a thought, huh? And here we are.
Right.
Like
Dream come true.
4 months, 5 months maybe?
Yeah, a lot of months.
Yeah, a lot of months.
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about, is it worth it to be a personal trainer? And I guess that question has a lot of different meaning, right?
Yeah.
Worth it has a lot of different meaning for people, but can you make a career out of it? Can you start a family? All those kinds of questions, right?
Right.
So, but before we get into that, let's get into Michael's segment.
Gym embarrassing moments.
Gym embarrassing moments. All right.
Are these all about you?
It doesn't have to be just about me. I mean, it could be about clients that we won't have to name, but it could also be about you guys.
A few of those.
Right. Shut up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, we're ready.
So, I was at a 24-hour fitness. I might have been 23, 24 years old. And for those out there who have been at that age and you just want to look good and impress all the girls in the gym and everybody look at you for everything that you can do. So I go in there, young strapping man, and I feel that, you know what, my abs are strong. I'm going to go ahead and do some crunches on this little ab board. So it's a sit-up bench that's a half bench, and usually it's bolted into the ground. So this one in particularly was not bolted into the ground, and so I decided to have a 45-pound plate and put that over my head as I do the crunches and sit-ups. And to my surprise, the bench wasn't bolted, and I flipped over, and the bench landed all on top of me in front of the gym, in front of everybody while they're watching, and it was the most embarrassing moment you could probably think of, especially because it was prime time. Everybody knows about prime time, right?
Yeah.
And so let's just say I never went back to that gym again.
That's pretty brutal for a 24-year-old to walk into a gym and have that kind of an accident.
Right,
In front of
exactly.
everybody.
Right,
Whoops.
prime time.
You didn't make eye contact with anybody, huh? When you left?
Man.
No, I didn't.
You left everything there. You didn't clear out the locker.
I did. I literally left the plate there. I left the bench flipped over, and I straight walked out.
Oh man.
Done.
Okay. Well, back to our topic. So, guys, is it worth it to get into this as a career? Can you make it? Can you achieve the things that you have in mind? You know, house, car, family.
That's a deep question, Russ.
Very deep.
That's a deep question.
I'll go first, and the short of it is, I would say yes. Right? Absolutely. There's that fear was in me before I started, because those are the things I want and those are the things that are important to me. But I think absolutely you can, but there's an asterisk, right? You've got to be, I think, chasing other things simultaneously, right? Like I don't think that there's anyone here who's made a career out of it who's not doing something else. Maybe there is, I don't know, but anyway, what do you guys think?
I think that it is definitely worth it. And for me, I don't measure it just based on the financial gain or being able to buy a house, which you can. But it's more about the impact that you make on people. Exactly.
Just for our audience,
Perfect
those are all,
moment.
those are all our Mike.
Pre-recorded sound bites of none other than Mr. Mitch MJ over here.
Right. So, when you're living your purpose, helping people out every day, helping them get healthier, I mean, that's worth it in itself. We can talk about that and go into the financial aspect of it. But the fact that you're able to help people every day, you wake up, you get to go to work happy, it's definitely worth it. I for sure believe that.
Yeah, it's a tough question to answer. I feel like there's so many different ways to approach that. Is it worth it? From a standpoint of time, for me, yes, because I don't work a 9 to 5. I don't sit at a desk and clock in and clock out. I come and go as I please. I get to be my own boss and set my time. And when I need to take off, I can just take off. And so from a standpoint of time, it's worth it because I didn't want to sit at a job and do a 9 to 5 thing. That makes it tough, though, because you do have no routine. You're sporadic in your times because you're only working when you're training somebody. Or if you're not training, then you're programming. Or you got to find something else to do to make money because you work off of commission, basically. Right. So the time frame is a big one. It's a big question mark. Are you comfortable with routines and having be set schedule? Like, it may be tough as a trainer. If you're all right with jumbled up schedules and mix and match, and you're good with some more freedom and you can take control of your time, then yeah, sure. But you got to be really good with time management eventually at this job, or else it'll eat you up.
For sure.
So for the listener who's maybe thinking about making this a career, what do you mean by like the awkward schedule?
Okay, so that's a great example. So for example, like take my Monday. My Monday I start at 7 and I work until 9 o'clock. And then I have half-hour gap, and then I start training at 10:30. And I have half-hour gap, and then I start training at 12. And then I got a 2-hour gap, and I start training at 2. And then I train at 3:30, and then at 4:30. So it's like all over the map, and that's just Monday. Then we go to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. None of them are the same. They're all different. There's weird gaps and spaces, and so your time looks a lot different.
Right. And basically, we train when people don't work. So, people go to work usually 9 to 5. So we're training 6, 7:30 in the morning till 9, 10 o'clock. Then you go on break, come back 4 or 5 o'clock when people are off work. And you work until, you're tired or you're done. So that definitely is rough. But if your lifestyle is conducive to it, or you've kind of worked your lifestyle into that, then I don't think it's a problem.
Yeah, I think that's part of the situation that Russ is talking about, where when you do this job, there's other things you also are pursuing. Right. So when I first came out here to be a personal trainer, I also wanted to pursue acting. And so the time was perfect. I could work in the morning, I could do acting classes, and I could go out for auditions, and I could go back and work in the evening. But there's times when I would be at work and didn't have anything else to do, and so I go to my car and take a nap. Right. That's a famous trainer thing, is to see in the parking lot of the gym. Oh yeah, the trainer is in his car taking a nap. Right. Because they got a break and you've been here early, and so it's weird. It's a weird schedule.
Right. So what about weekends and holidays? What's that like as a trainer?
Well, weekends, I typically personally try to travel, or if I'm not traveling, I'll work a weekend because, again, I'm enjoying what I do. So I want to maximize my days, my time. And that's also when people don't work. So, it's a good opportunity to get people in that weren't able to make it in during the week and help them out, in that way.
Yeah, weekends and holidays look different as a trainer as well because, for example, like I work Saturday mornings. Kind of like Mike said, people aren't working most of the time. If they're working 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, Saturday morning is a great time to train a bunch of clients in the gym. And so Saturday morning I work, and I've been working Saturday morning since I started being a trainer. And I always have Saturday morning clients. I reserve myself I won't train after 12 because I don't want to work 6 days a week. And I have family or I have friends, things I want to do. I won't train on Sunday. I need a break. I need a day, take a rest. And the weekends thing is kind of cool. The holidays. The holiday things is a fun topic for me because my clients always ask me, so you taking this holiday off?
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, I'm self-employed. My holidays are when I want them.
Right.
So is it Memorial Day, or is it Veterans Day, or what is it? Labor Day or something like that. Like, I'm working. It's Labor Day, so I'm laboring. But this in 2 weeks when it's a Friday and it's not a typical holiday, but I'm gonna take off and go to something with my family, then that's my holiday. Right. And so my holidays are what I get to choose because it's my time frame.
Right.
And oddly, a lot of clients like to train on holidays, right?
Yep.
So that question is usually because they want to train.
Yep.
Like Thanksgiving morning,
right?
I usually got 4 or 5 clients before everybody goes home for Thanksgiving dinner.
Right.
So what would you guys say is the worst thing about training?
The worst thing about training, honestly, is probably the schedule. I think just having it be so, well, if this client son or daughter got sick and now they can't make it in, and you don't have that hour, or if you charge them, now they're salty about it. So really the scheduling is probably the worst, if I could say something. But overall, I mean, that's once you kind of conform to how things are, it's not really a big deal. But I would say the schedule for sure.
Right. And your if you have a significant other or wife, like they've got to adjust and sort of understand your schedule changes, not just by the week, by the day, and by the hour, right? People are moving around, changing. So it's not like you can say, okay,
Right.
And if they don't understand that, that's tough too, right?
Right.
I thought you said you're going to work at this time, or I thought you're going to have this time off. And sometimes you need to take on a client at a time. So
just schedule in the moment.
Right.
Well, what would be the worst thing for you?
Yeah, I think the worst thing is the schedule. I mean, there's a number of things that make the job tough. I think that's kind of why we started here as well, that we all realize, having done this for all of us over a decade, that the schedule is tough. It's probably the toughest part about the job. You don't get paid if you're not working, and your schedule is sporadic. And so if you're, being relied upon by other people, like there's a balance there that, like, I don't just get to say, okay, I'm done with work at 5, I drop my pen, and now I go home or I go to my next activity. Like sometimes I can do that, sometimes I can't. So you got to weigh your priorities a lot when you're dealing with the time frame of the schedule. So that's probably definitely one of the toughest things. But it also allows you to kind of like to bounce off that, to look at the other side. Like if I have a kids event, I can say, all right, I'm not going to train this block, and I have a client at this block. Like I'm going to see my kid's game at 3:30 this afternoon.
Right.
I usually train a client at 4. I'm going to have to tell that client, you know what, my kid's playing a game. I'm sorry, we can reschedule. And so it makes it kind of like a give and take, pro and con.
And I feel like that is huge, because if you think about any profession, whatever it is, there's a schedule for it. Whether you're a doctor and you're working 12-hour shifts, or you're a nurse and you're working 12-hour shifts, there's always going to be something you have to work through. And I think that whoever's in your life, they're there because they understand that and they adapt to it, and you guys can adapt to it. And once you get past that, it just becomes normal. A 9 to 5 is not normal to me. 9 to 5 is like, oh, that's doing too much. So, 4 hours here, 4 hours there is much better. And like Michael said, it's so much better having the freedom to be able to say, I want to go to my son or daughter's game, or I want to go help out a friend, or I want to go do these things without, my boss or supervisor, saying, oh, you're going to have to use your paid time off or something.
Yeah.
And I can't deal with that. So,
yeah. So, we have unlimited days off, unlimited sick days, but we also must work. We must, get the hours in, right?
Right. I want to jump in real quick. Along with the schedule being the toughest part, I think there's going to be a wrinkle in there where, like, working with people tends to be the toughest part too.
Right.
Like, it's a great thing, but sometimes it's really hard because, unlike, say, for example, like my dad was a computer programmer. So most of his job is staring at a computer screen and working with the software and programs and data and all that thing. But my hour to hour is working with a person.
Right.
And so there's a whole dynamic to that, like working with people, and they're all different every hour, that like makes the job interesting and tough. Like if you're going to maintain a business, like you got to figure out how to work with all kinds of different people and get along with them and train them and teach them and show them value. There's a whole background to working with people every hour, different people, that makes the job pretty tough.
Right.
And I would say that's part of what where our skills lie, and that's, for the listener, that's what we intend to share with you is what we've learned, over the years, what works, what doesn't, how do you navigate, all these different personalities that you're going to encounter, and stay true to yourself and be able to grow and have fun and succeed in this business. So that's part of what we have to share. I think the worst part of this is when you lose clients, not just for the financial aspect, but you start to reflect on yourself. What did I do wrong? Mm-hmm. Could I have done something better? Is it something about myself that they don't like? That is tough. And if you start to lose 2, 3, 4, you really, I really go into panic mode before,
mm-hmm.
right? Like, can I recover from this? Do I need to look for a new career? And I think that's really I think every trainer is going to experience the loss of some clients, but when you have a group, and, I've experienced that. I don't know if you guys have, but you really start to think. I start to think, looking inward, right? Like what's wrong with me? You know, why did they leave? But anyway,
That's a good point, and I think that for me, or I guess I'll just speak for me, that happened early on, but once there was a confidence built based on what I can bring to the table, I stopped worrying about it because I knew that, you know, what I'm providing is still quality, and you're not going to win everybody over. You're not going to be successful with each person, but you have to look at the whole spectrum of it. And if you've been successful, which we've been in this business for over a decade each, I start to, okay, well, you know, it just that size didn't fit, or, you know, that cookie cut didn't work. And essentially you just kind of move on past that and just don't let it beat you up, because it's still a numbers game. You know, you lose that 1, 2, or 3, but you still got 12. Focus on that 12 and try to get a couple more and kind of build from there.
right. And again, to the listener, the origin of this show was really one day I asked these guys, I was like, hey, what do you do for advertising? Guess what they said? Nothing.
They all said nothing.
And that was the light bulb moment. I was like, wow, we don't spend a single dollar on advertising, and I would say that we're successful in what we do.
Right.
And that was the moment when I was like, we have something really to share to the people who are thinking about coming into this business or just getting started, or even if you've been in here for a while. You know, we help sharpen each other. So, all right. On the flip side, what is the best thing about being a personal trainer? What do you guys love?
Man, the best thing is I get to come in here and mess with you every day.
These two always fighting in the gym.
Oh man,
Yep.
man.
We got some video to prove the fights that go on in here. We'll
Right.
show them someday.
Right.
You don't mess with me.
Man, of course I do. You know what I'm saying? So for me, the best thing, honestly, there's just so many great things about it. Being able to help people, the energy you receive from people, being able to work with such a good group of people. I've been blessed and fortunate to each facility I've worked at, which has only been pretty much 2. There have been great trainers and great people that I've had around me that has helped me kind of blossom into where I am today. So for sure, I would say the people is definitely what I love most about it.
Yeah, I worked in corporate America after college, and it took me about 6 months, and I was like, man, this is not for me. I cannot go to the same place every day for however many years, right? So I need to do something else. Yeah. And then I did something else. I was in mortgage for a while, and I was just chasing money. You know, I was like, at the end of the day, maybe I helped someone and I put some money in my bank account, but it was empty, you know? And I was like, okay, those 2 things really matter to me. Where can I find that? And I feel happy every day. I don't feel like, oh my gosh, I got to get out of bed, you know?
Right.
Well, before, when I had to take every client, some clients made me feel like that, but that's for another show. But
right.
But now, you know, every client is exciting. I enjoy it. They bring something. Either I help lift them up, or they lift me up. It's really interesting. So that I would say that's the best part of the career for me, is the interaction with the clients.
Right. What about you, Michael?
Yeah, the best part for me, I think, is just working with people, and also having, like, not stuck to deadlines or have to be here, have to be there to somebody else's schedule or requirements or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I really enjoy working with the people, not staring at a computer screen or not being tied to a chair. Yeah. I mean, as a trainer, you work on your feet, you're wandering around all day long, right, which comes with its own set of difficulties. But yeah, the best thing about it is just the people and spending my life, like, engaging in conversation and hearing people's stories. I love to listen to people's stories as I'm training them, for multiple reasons. The stories are fun, right, and also from the trainer side of it, when they're telling you stories, they don't know how hard they're working. So
right. Get to confuse them while they're in the workout.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's another point too, is I feel like I get to sponge off of the knowledge and experience of the people that I work with, right?
100%.
So you learn about accounting and, being an attorney and all kinds of stuff, right? They've got a lot of knowledge and they love to share with you. And we're talking about clients who spend 2-3 hours a week for years, right?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So your clients, if you choose to make this a career, they're more likely going to be more so not a revolving door, right? Your
Right.
core base is going to be there.
Yep. They're going to go through life with you.
Yeah.
Right.
And I never imagined that too.
Me
Yeah.
either.
Decades, right? They've been,
Yeah.
Yeah.
how long has your oldest client been with you?
Yeah, my oldest client's been with me for my entire time as a trainer, 12 years, 13 years, going on 13 years.
Yeah.
Mine's 13 years.
And
too.
I have a number of clients that are 10 years, and then most of them probably about 7 to 8.
Right.
And they're likely not to leave, right? Because it's part of their life.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, when you think about it, they're working it into their budget based just like you would have a housekeeper, or you'd have a barber, or you'd have your accountant, or you'd have your real estate agent, you know. So each one of these people carry a purpose in your life, and that's the same with us, you know, which should be the most important, because we're getting people healthy, maintaining your health, helping them live longer so they can do more, be better, and so it works.
Right. And I didn't get to say what the worst part of the job is, but you already know.
Little Buster. You already know.
Just kidding. No, Mike is a lot of fun. So, okay, so we use all kinds of different things in the gym, right? But we don't really need to. We can do full body weight training. I'm sure you guys have been doing some Zoom training during quarantine. Right?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you got to improvise. But
Yeah.
we got a little segment of the show. We like to review gadgets in the gym because
The gym is full of gadgets.
Gadgets.
Unlimited number of gadgets.
Gadgets.
And sometimes you're looking at them and you're like, what is that?
Who got that? Where'd they get it from?
Right.
And why are they using it?
And somebody's making $1 million off of this stupid
100%.
thing.
100%.
All right. So our first gadget is this right here.
Fat grips. Just
What is
love
it
the
again?
name, Fat
Yeah.
Grips.
What is it again?
With a Z. GRIPZ. So have you guys used this?
Yes.
Yep.
I use it.
I
What do
know.
you
I've
think?
seen you putting some work in on
Okay.
that puppy.
So this is what it's like. You can make any grip or bar or dumbbell larger, the grip, right? So essentially you have to hold on and it's wider. And the theory behind it is it makes your grip stronger when you go back to a normal size, right? Is that sort of how the selling, right? I like it. It comes in a pair. I like it a lot. I like it for grip strength and whatnot. What about you guys?
Nope.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah, definitely little Buster. Right. That's
Very
what I
little.
think. For me, my hands are large, and it just really didn't benefit me. I didn't feel like
Interesting.
it helped. Honestly, I felt like it hindered me more when I used it, and so I'm not a huge fan.
I was going to say it's a both and. So yes, it can be effective. For a guy like me who I like rock climbing, that sorts of activities, it's nice to try and figure out ways to increase my grip strength. And I find that this is helpful because, like as Russell's saying, you can't grip the bar as tight, and so your muscles are being strained. But I have also noticed that when you use something like this, when you can't grip the bar with your normal grip, you're straining the attachments of your muscles onto your bones where they attach. And so there's a likelihood that you're going to start to strain, like especially at the elbow. It calls golfer's elbow or tennis elbow because you don't have the close of your fingers into your palm. And so now it provides a lot of tension on the muscle attachments to the bone. And so you got to be careful with those, who you use them with and how often you use them and with what lifts you use them. So yeah, they're cool, I think, but you got to be wise about it.
Right.
I think you're doing something weird with this, huh?
Not that day. Don't even try it. Not that day.
The thing is, too, I guess you got to use this for a specific reason, right? So if you want to go and do bicep curls and you want to increase your bicep size,
Right.
you don't really want to use the fat grips
Right.
because it's going to limit the weight you can use. But if you want to do some bicep curls, get a little bicep work in, not tax your bicep, but then gain your intention is some grip strength, then use this. So be specific and know what you're using it for.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why I don't do it. I mean, these guns is already, what I need it for.
We'll put on a tank top on him one day and we'll show it off.
Yeah. All right. So thanks for tuning in to our first show. And check us out next week. We're going to talk about what it's like to work in a big box gym.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for listening. And if you got questions or comments, please hit us up and let us know. We got lots of show ideas, but fill us up with some too.
Feedback is always good.
All right.
Thanks for checking out the Fit Fellows podcast. You best be tuned in next week when they drop that knowledge for your ass. We welcome your input and feedback, and you can find out more about the show at www.thefitfellows.com. Thanks again for listening or watching. We out. Peace.